Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel, and thank you guys so much for joining me. Tonight, we're going to be talking about a very important topic that I think is very important for parents to have, as well as people in general to have in their radar that we don't talk about enough and can seem to be a polarizing conversation. Now, there are a lot of books around this topic that focuses on one side, which is which I would call to be more the Jordan Peterson way of doing things. And there are a lot of different subcategories of this particular topic that I'm going to try not to get too political into, but just give you the facts. All right. And this topic, if you're looking at the thumbnail, is about the infantilization of society. Now, I can break this down into or give you some symptoms that you can be looking for. I had to change my shirt real quick. It was so cold. Got myself a cup of tea. Youth obsessed culture, but in a very perverted way. Let's just say perverted. I feel like this whole idea of not growing old or maturing is definitely something that has predominated our generation, right? So all the people born in the 1980s really had witnessed the aftermath of being able to just live life on your own terms. And it was very, very cool for a moment to have other alternative lifestyles and other alternative ways of being. But now we're starting to see all of the repercussions of said lifestyles and ways of being. And we're just coming up upon what the results of that are. And so I don't think that people are having an actual broader perspective just yet, given another 10 years, as to what those repercussions are. But definitely, a youth obsessed culture is one of the major signs of infantilization and the arrested development of a people that don't want to grow up. One of those things are the growing movement. I don't even know if I want to call it a movement, because of course I have my opinions on this. I will not be sharing that in this video, but it is very, very much more derivative of a child-free or dual income life. I've talked about this in another video that I did that was apparently major trigger for some people, but it is definitely imperative that you go check that video out, and give your opinions to that. I did my research. I can assure you that you should go check it out because it's not a biased video. And my biases will come much, much later after I've done giving you all the facts. But this child-free movement or dual income, no children movement is definitely a big thing in this infantilization of a society where people why let me explain why, and these are not my words, this is according to psychologists, is that people who have children, and it's not always the case, of course there are some anecdotal situations where parents have kids and they still don't mature, they don't rise to the task of being able to parent and not think of themselves. But for the most part, having child forces people to grow up themselves. And so when people don't want to go through that experience, that is kind of going against nature and insisting upon staying in a childlike state. Not my words again, it is just what the psychologists have shown already in studies so far. And I know there are a lot of excuses about how children are expensive and they take a lot of time and effort and it's a huge responsibility. Baby, you will never be prepared and never financially competent enough for whatever it is a child might throw at you. But you do it anyway because it is a natural part of human maturation. Not my words again, it's just what the psychologists say. So, no wanting to not accept responsibility. Of course, as I mentioned, being a parent is a huge responsibility, and it's definitely one of the things that shows that you are no longer a child yourself, but that and other ways and means of responsibility, my kids, other types of responsibility also are a derivative of growing up. Not just having children, but understanding that when society, when things happen within your society that are not in alignment, or things that you enjoy or want to see happen, like for example, your government passed a law that is not in alignment with yours, or people are telling you that this is how it's going to be in society from here on out, that you don't go and say that it is the government's responsibility to change X or Y or Z, or it is this person's responsibility to change X or Y or Z. No, you are the government, you are the society, and therefore being able to take a certain level of responsibility in the decision making process of society that you belong to is your responsibility. An infantile person or an infantile society is always looking to somebody else to point their finger at. This is something that we have to be more and more aware of, as we have these platforms where people are talking out their faces and pointing the finger at everybody else but themselves. And so blaming your parents is a very specific thing that I think I have seen closer to my circle of friends, because most of the people, okay, everybody has a parent, and everybody, a lot of people that I know have children. So I tend to see this a lot too, where there's a very fine line between what is the social responsibility of the person who has an issue versus who they want to push off that responsibility on that raised them. Yes, parents again have a huge responsibility to raise their children right, and to be able to give them the tools to be able to live their lives as adults. And sometimes they don't do a very good job at that. And it is ultimately their fault that you are the way you are. The only difference now as an adult is that you have the ability as an adult to choose and do things better for yourself. If you were able to acknowledge that your parent didn't do whatever it is they were supposed to for you, that you can now rectify and change and do that for yourself. It's called self-parenting, which is something that I will be discussing in my next video. But for now, don't arrest your development. Go out and get the tools and things that you need to mature and have your best life lived. And I hope, if you can, stay safe and stay free. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.